I want to start it out with Chris Godwin first. And Pat, I want to ask you in particular, are you somebody that thinks that Chris Godwin should still be in an elite tier, at least remain as one of the top 10 wide receivers for dynasty purposes? Or are you ready to move on from Chris Godwin now that Tom Brady's gone? He could end up with a different team. Are you a little bit nervous with everything going on post-injury? What are your thoughts on Chris Godwin?
So, I consider myself pretty pro Godwin, but I do have him just outside the top 10. I think I've got him either wide receiver 13 or 14. And part of it is the ACL. We don't know if we're going to get the full season from him next year. Probably. I mean, counting guys out seems like a bad bet these days as far as injury recovery. We saw
unless it's Will Fuller and it's a finger injury.
Yeah, exactly.
Never play football again.
But these guys recover from this stuff so quickly. So hopefully he's going to be back by week 1. But I don't know. I kind of thought he had the perfect storm with Tom Brady this past year. Brady did not want to get hit this past year. And it was kind of obvious all season. And just dumping these quick passes to Fournette and Godwin, not really standing back there doing 5-step drops and looking for guys 30 or 40 yards downfield. He wanted to get the ball out fast. And Godwin just his style played right into that. We don't know where he's going to be. So overall, I still feel like I'm bullish, but I don't have him in the top 10 anymore. Near elite, but maybe not quite elite.
I have a hot take on Godwin in the opposite direction. So I put out my tiered and clustered dynasty rankings the other day, and Chris Godwin was not in my top 20 dynasty wide receivers. From 2019 through 2021, the Bucs threw for over 15,000 passing yards. They threw for 791 more pass yards than any other team in the entire NFL. They averaged 2 more pass attempts, 1.98 if you want to be precise, than any other team over the past 3 years. Look, Chris Godwin's per route, per play numbers have just not been there, even during this period where he's been a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 in fantasy. His Whopper last year, which is weighted opportunity rating, was all the way down at 0.457. What we're seeing out of most of the elite wide receiver 1s in the NFL is in the high 0.6s, low 0.7s, and we're seeing, in the 0.5 to 0.6 range for these wide receiver 2s. Godwin's only seeing about a 20% target share. He's only seeing about 20% air yard share. But because the pie is so large in Tampa Bay, it has been the last 3 years, and because the offense is so efficient, he's able to predictably outperform his usage, Chris Godwin is. And a lot of this applies to Mike Evans as well. I do have concerns that if they have freaking Blaine Gabbert as their quarterback next year, if he stays, or if he ends up going somewhere else to a fairly average offense, that he's just not going to be able to sustain this without really juicing up his own individual market shares. And his career high in target share, even in that best year ever, is 22%. So I'm quite low on Godwin in Dynasty. He's someone that I'm looking to sell in Dynasty at what his market value is, which I think is wide receiver 13 right now. But certainly I understand the talent. He's one of the best zone beaters in the league. He's a great yak player, great football player. But with the injury and with his individual rate stats, I'm out. And Husker/Husker, yes, I'm coming to you live from a law office. So absolutely, I look like a lawyer. Thanks. But I have my floral shirt, so I'm trying to let you know that, corporate law is certainly not sucked up the personality. We're only defending the best and the brightest down here.
All right, so let me propose this real quick, because Chris Godwin, when it comes to his air yard share and all that other stuff, which obviously he plays out of the slot, he's not going to see a tremendous amount, but he is able to capitalize on the looks that he gets, and he's able to do things with the ball in his hands. Meanwhile,
real quick though.
Yes.
Sorry. So that was more of a function of Tom Brady, though, because when he had Jameis back in 2019 and Jameis was YOLOing, he set career highs in yards per reception and yards per catch. And I know they're not advanced metrics, but they just happen to be. Bring up. Oh, well, I wanted to cut you off, so I look smarter. I stole that off. Yeah.
That makes sense. I was going to go to you with this take. So no, but we have Jameis Winston pretty much taking one of his best overall seasons, right? Because he did increase that, and Tom Brady likes throwing short. We saw the same thing with Julian Edelman. We saw the same thing with Wes Welk or whoever was in that slot. So Shane, do you think that Chris Godwin can actually increase those numbers? And what's your take on that?
Yes, but not with Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask. So I get Jacob's trepidation because we can't just pencil in Aaron Rodgers landing there, right? Because apparently he likes Green Bay again. We can't just pencil in Jameis Winston because if I was Jameis Winston, I would tell Bruce Arians to suck my nut if he tried to get me to come back there the way he treated me. It's a disgrace, and Bruce Arians is a horrible head coach. What are we talking about? Oh,
here it goes again.
It's risk reward, right? So if I can get him for a moderate risk, yeah, I'll do it. He's one of the few players that I agree with his price. Like his startup price is like wide receiver 15, and I'm not like, oh, that's egregious either way. Yeah, Trubisky, no.
Yeah,
although Trubisky might actually, here's a hot take. Trubisky might actually be good at football. Yeah, it's just that Nagy was absolutely atrocious and horrible as a football mind.
He could be one of the league's best backups.
That's why they booed his kids, which is a little over the line, but I understand it. He's one of those players right now. He's definitely not in the elite tier. You know what I mean? I'm not going to look at he's not anyone that if I have Jamar Jefferson or Jamar Chase. Like I'm not going to.
I do think that Lions 7th round running back Jamar Jefferson belongs in the elite tier.
I'm not going to try to pivot down from like Justin Jefferson to Chris Godwin for like a singular first. Like that's not going to do the trick. I'm going to need a little more. But if somebody likes DJ more than I like Chris Godwin, and they want to give me a little bit on top, we could talk.